Salam, hello, and welcome to another episode of Silly Points Cricket. We have got some controversy out of this India-South Africa series that just concluded. Looks like India, and specifically Ashwin Kohli and KL Rahul, have gotten away with some pretty poor actions, but we will get into that. I'm joined in the studio with Taufeeq Mia. So just quickly to recap, if you guys missed it, basically what happened was there was an LBW decision given out on field to Dean Elgar by umpire Erasmus. Elgar reviewed, and honestly, it looked like it was plumb.
Yeah.
On camera on first sight, but looked like the ball tracking said it was going over. It got overturned, and all hell breaks loose. Well, not all hell, but some very I would say Pendu reactions by KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, and Ravichandra Ashwin. Taufeeq, what was that?
On the delivery itself, man, it was incredible. I was watching it, and live it looked plumb, and slow motion it still looked plumb to me as well. And then as soon as the ball tracker comes through, it kind of shows it going over the stumps, right over the stumps. So it's still in line, but it went over the stumps. And the first question I had in my mind is, wait a second, who bowled that? Was it like Jensen or like somebody tall, a bouncer? What happened there? But no, it was Ashwin, straight on delivery, and got a reprieve for Elgar.
Yeah, look, it was very apparent that this was not normal, right? The bounce and everything, right. But shades of Saeed Ajmal in this, right? 2011, if you guys don't remember. Saeed Ajmal balls a delivery to Tendulkar is given out for all the money in the world. It looked like it was going to hit the stumps, goes over. Exact same thing.
Yeah, that one in fact actually went to down the leg side, and it looked pretty plumb. But yeah, Tendulkar got a reprieve, and that was a game-defining changing moment. But there was a lot of talk back then as well by a lot of Pakistani fans, but the Pakistani players, it's really important to note, Saeed Ajmal just moved on with the game. The rest of the players moved on with the game.
Yeah, so, on that fact, there looked like there was a lot of pent-up frustration from the Indians, right? If you look at what was said, right? So, initially, I think it was Ashwin who said, you should find a better way to win Super Sport. Kohli bent over, spoke into the mic, or rather the stump mic, and like he was giving a McDonald's delivery from his car, and said, focus on your team, always looking to find some problems with shining the ball, right? Yeah. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And then Kohli said, whole country playing against 11
KL
guys.
Rahul, yeah.
KL Rahul said that, right? Some pretty shocking things there. Have you ever seen that?
I have never experienced anything like this, and I just do want to get the story straight here. Supersport, the broadcasting, they have the broadcasting rights. They have nothing to do with Hawkeye or DRS or anything like that, right? So they are not at fault here at all. With regards to shining the ball, I mean, Kohli, I'm going to use his exact words on him. Like he says in his press conferences, you don't know what's happening on the field. Mm-hmm. Maybe Kohli should focus on what's on the field and not worry about what's actually being broadcasted. He has no right to say who's doing what or anything like that, right? But just going back to the Hawkeye, they're independent. The methodology is not 100% automatic. Like for example, where the ball pitches and where the point of impact is, there is a little bit of human intervention there. But when you listen to the experts, the technology is pretty solid and there's very minimal room for error. Now, how much error took place in this specific delivery, no one knows, but the reactions were overblown. And like you mentioned, emotions were running high, right?
Yeah, so this wasn't a spur of the moment thing, right? This wasn't Indian players or Kohli or those three players reacting to the moment. There was a lot of, as I said before, pent-up frustration, and it spilled over with that decision, right? You could tell that these guys have been, frustrated about the game. I think, a lot of players, fans and pundits expected India to walk over South Africa. I did too, by the way. I thought India would win this 2-0, 3-0, right?
Right.
But that didn't happen. South Africa, to their credit, played out of their skins. But yeah, the series wasn't going as expected. I think there was a lot of frustration from India, the way they performed, and then this was the tipping point, right? But, you know, just looking at what they said, this was a clear statement from the Indians saying that, hey, we're being cheated over here, that we're being treated unfairly. And that is a huge accusation to make against. And let's face it, they were making it not against the South African team, not against the umpire. They were making it against SuperSport, right?
Yeah, broadcasters as well as Nation, apparently. Nation versus
Yeah,
whole country versus 11 guys.
Yeah,
Like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Who are you referring to? The whole nation, right? And anytime you go abroad, it's always the whole nation against 11 guys. Like, what do you mean, right? But yeah, no, you know, these are serious allegations. And when I first saw it happen, I thought, oh, can't say that.
Yeah.
You cannot say that. Right? You can say a lot of things on the field, but you cannot accuse anyone of cheating. And
that too intentionally, like you mentioned, right? Going right down, abusing the stumps to a certain point, right?
It was the funniest thing. He bent over and he just spoke into this. Like, who are you talking to, right? I have never seen that, man. Like, I have never seen that. But
I honestly thought there was going to be some banning, some suspension, something, man. Like
something, yeah.
There's so many people that don't get away with any of it.
Did you actually think for sure that something was gonna? This is BCCI / ICC in disguise, right?
Right.
Did you?
I honestly thought, like, I was like, man, this is like so blatant. Like, it's not like just something got picked up by the stump mic, you know, like. You hear a freebie cussing fees out, like you mentioned before, right? Yeah. It gets picked up on the stump mic. They're professionals, but they move on, right? This was like direct attack at a country, accusations to broadcasters. It's like, wait, where are you going with this? It was ridiculous, but spoiler alert, nothing so far.
Right, and that's the whole point about this is that nothing was done.
Right. And
you know, you can say, my first reaction was, oh, you can't say that, you're going to get in trouble. But then my second thought was, oh, no. This is Virat Kohli. This is Team India.
Greatest of all time.
Nothing is going to happen to these guys. BCCI. Let's face it, you know, the big three, especially India, control the ICC. The ICC is a lame duck for all extensive purposes, right? Whatever they do the bidding of the big three, and they're just there to, you know, on the face of it, say, hey, we have control. But it's not the case. Now, is it a conspiracy to say, oh, ICC did not ban Kohli because of that? I don't know. It's not a stretch. But I for sure thought there was a chance after, you know, settling down that he wasn't going to get banned. And that is exactly what has happened. And to me, that's a disgrace. It's, you know, how will ICC ever now come out and say that player's banned because he said that player's banned because he said that, right?
Right.
I mean, it wasn't too long ago, Rabada, if you remember, got banned for screaming into the ground after he picked up a wicket. Like,
oh, I didn't know. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Rabada's been in hot water about one or two incidents, and I think that was the last straw. But it's not like Kohli's been clean prior to this either, right? But Rabada got suspended for, I think, a 1 or 2 test match ban because he got really hyper when he got a wicket and he screamed into this thing, you know, over the top celebration.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he got suspended for that, but Kohli or Indian cricket is
making serious accusations.
Right. Speaking into the mic, telling the whole world that, hey, there's cheating going on here, but no, that's, you know, we're not going to look into that, right?
Honestly, what really bugs me is, okay, emotions are running high. You made a mistake. All's good. Just if you apologize. But the press conference, man, I don't know what he was saying, but I didn't get an apology out of it. He brushed it aside, but the way he brushed it aside as well, it was like he was actually like still blaming somebody.
He knew he was not going.
It was like, man,
he knew nothing was going to happen to him. This guy is protected. He knows that, hey, if they even do anything to me, the Indian media, the BCCI are going to get on the phone. They're going to call ICC up and say, hey, what the hell, right?
Yeah.
So that is my.
Of course, I just feel for Saeed Ajmal. Like I can't imagine, like,
well,
if
he came out and he made a statement.
Right, but if he had actually come and did something back then, And he was like suspended. That poor guy would have been suspended for like a year, man. Like, there's no cutting slack for him.
Yeah. I mean, if Ajmal had spoken out against it, I think Pakistani players did. I mean, maybe not the players, but there was some talk about, hey,
Right.
that was tampered with or whatever. But I don't remember the point is that nobody did anything on the field,
Yeah.
right? That could, you could say, hey, you can't be doing that, right? But also, people are missing out on this fact, which is there was some analysis done. I don't know who it was on the field, but they said that prior, a few overs prior to that, there was doing some ball tracking where the ball was hit exactly on the same part of the pad.
Right. This
And
is
because of
subsequent
Ashwin's
over.
height and the bounce that was being extracted, that those balls were going over too, right?
Right.
So there was reasonable.
There's a little bit of talk about
right,
that.
yeah. So honestly, he's gotten away. Team India has gotten away with that one, and it's a disgrace. ICC, I mean, if at this point, ICC is not even trying to hide their bias towards Team India and whatnot, right? But we move on.